Hello. All right, so we are back in our notes packets, and today our focus is on combining polynomials together, okay? So the reason why we use the word combining is because it encompasses it puts together the fact that it includes adding, subtracting, and multiplication. Today we're mainly going to focus on adding and subtracting terms, and then separately we'll talk about multiplication. So before we get started, just as a reminder, terms are individual parts that are things separated by addition or subtraction. They have to have the same exponent and the same variable. So for example, 5x and 7x squared, that's as simplified as it gets, okay? Because they have two different exponents, to the first and to the second. But if I had 5x plus 7x, that can be combined into one term, 12x, all right, because 5 plus 7 is 12. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to use these we're going to use these four different functions at the top here, f of x, g of x, h of x, and m of x. We're going to use those four different functions today. And the reason for the names is to make writing these problems down here a little bit easier. So it says we're going to use these above equations to perform the operations, and then we're going to identify the degree and the end behavior, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is take f of x and add it to g of x, okay? So this first part is kind of like substitution. We're just going to rewrite f of x, so it looks like it's 2x to the fourth plus 4x squared. Okay, so that's our first function, and we're going to add it to g of x, so 3x to the fourth plus 2x squared minus 7. And any term that has the same exponent, we can add together. So 2x to the fourth and 3x to the fourth would make 5x to the fourth. And then 4x squared and 2x squared, those are similar. So that's a total of 6x squared. And then the only term left is this negative 7. So I'm just going to write it at the end, negative 7. So that makes, that makes this my answer in terms of what's the new function. But the degree we still need to answer. So if we remember from our previous lesson, degree means the highest exponent. So 4, 2, and then none. So of those, 4 would be the highest exponent. And then the end behavior. Okay, so here's a couple of options. Option 1, if you want to figure out the end behavior, you could graph this function, okay, using your calculator and look at where the arrows. Graph and look at the arrows. That's one option. Option 2, you could look at the first term. So option 2 is you could look at the first term and determine this answer based on those two pieces of information. So if you remember from our previous video, anything with an even, right, this is technically an even degree, the arrows are going to point in the same direction. And since this is a positive 5, that means the arrows are both going to point up. So positive value means the arrows are going to point up. It's kind of up to you if you want to look at the graph or you want to use the number. Nothing wrong with either one. All right, we're going to do one more together, and then I'm going to let you try some of these on your own, okay? So now we have h of x, so that's this one right here that has all these terms. So negative 3x to the third plus 5x squared minus x plus 1. Okay, minus everything in g. So that means instead of a positive 3x, it's going to be a negative 3x to the fourth. Instead of a positive, we're going to have a negative 2x squared. And then instead of a negative, we're going to have a positive 7. Because really what that negative means is it means you're going to take the opposite of whatever's going on in g of x. Okay, and now we're going to combine some like terms. So it looks like this is the term with the highest exponent, so I'm actually going to start with that, negative 3x to the fourth. Then, is there anything else that's cubed? Nope, so negative 3x to the third. And then we got a 5x squared and a 2x, negative 2x squared, so that's going to be positive 3, right? Because 5 minus 2 is 3. And then we've got a negative x, but nothing else has an x, so that's negative x. And then 7 and 1 would make 8. So that's our expression. And then same two questions. What's the degree? I'm just going to abbreviate with the letter D. That's to the fourth. And then what's the end behavior? I'm going to abbreviate that to EB. Well, now we are negative, right? Negative. So it's got to be down and down, because in this one, when it was even and positive, it was up and up. All right, so there are 4 more problems on this page, problems 3, 4, 5, and 6. How about you try 3 and 4 and then unpause this video when you think you have your answer? Seriously, you should pause the video and try these 2 problems, all right? Come on, you can do it. All right, if you're coming back to see the answers for 3 and 4, here's your answer for 3. You've got your terms, you've got your degree, and your end behavior, which was again up and up because this was a positive even function. All right, if you're back for the answer to number 4, you should get 2x cubed plus 5x squared plus 4 because the x terms cancel one another out. The degree is odd, and then this is the first time this has happened. The end behavior, because you have a 2 that's positive, your graph should end going upwards. That means that the arrow on the left must be pointing down, and the arrow on the right must be pointing up. So these are your 2 arrows for your end behavior. All right, if you haven't tried numbers 5 and 6, the main difference is that they have 1, 2, 3 expressions in them, so they're just going to be a little bit longer. So take some time and try those. Pause the video, try 5 and 6, and then unpause to see how you did. All right? Welcome back. Hopefully you're here to check in your answer to number 5. So I had to kind of write the first 2 in one line and then the next equation in like a second line. So there were 2 terms that had a degree of 4, so I added those together. Then this one was the only one with a degree 3, so that came next. So we're at x to the fourth minus 3x cubed. Then there were 1, 2, 3 terms that were squared, so I had to I added the positive ones, so that was 7 minus 4 gave me positive 3x squared, negative x, and then a minus 6 for the constants. So degree of 4, because of this number right here, and then there's a 1, a positive 1 in front, so that means both of those arrows should be pointing up. So stay tuned to hear your answer for number 6. All right, folks, and here's your answer to the last problem with the combining of functions. So you should have gotten 3x to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 11. Degree of 4, end behavior going up and up yet again. If you need some clarification on how some of those terms canceled out, I would pause the video and kind of look over the work. Otherwise, time for your practice, okay? Have a good one. Bye.